Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk you through the 6 items in my 2021 bucket list, and I'll share with you how I'm planning to make sure they all hopefully happen. All right, so the first thing is that this year I want to write an amazing book. I have a book deal to write a book, and it's going to be loosely themed around the idea of meaningful productivity. And I have started writing it already, and things are going reasonably well, although it feels quite scary because it's like the path in front is very, very uncertain, and I don't even know if I'll be able to do it. And every day it's a struggle to sit down and actually do some writing. And I always think in my head that, oh, I don't know if this is good enough, and why would anyone read this? But from people I've spoken to, this whole like writing a book thing, much like a lot of other things in life, is really a case of kind of believing in yourself and doing the work and doing it consistently, and then trying to make it good further down the line, rather than kind of trying to make it good from the beginning and then stalling in that process. Now, the way that I'm planning out my kind of 6 items on my bucket list is using my Anti-Wasteman System. And so for each of these items, I have a dream, and the dream is like the emotionally resonant goal. Like, I want to write an amazing book. And then the next question I ask myself is, why do I want to do that? So why do I want to write an amazing book? Well, I've got a book deal and it seems fun, and it would be really cool if the book is really good. And I know for me, like, the things that have most changed my life have been reading books. Like certain books. So books like The 4-Hour Workweek or Anything You Want by Derek Sivers or Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. Those books have had such a huge impact on my life, and I would absolutely freaking love it if the book that I end up writing can come even close to having some kind of that level of impact on a random person's life. And it would be nice if it's more than one person. So that's like a pretty strong why for doing this thing. Now, the next step is converting the emotionally resonant dream of writing an amazing book into a SMART goal. Now, a SMART goal is theoretically, ideally, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely, or time-bound. And so the SMART goal that I've created for this in the first instance is that by mid-February, by the 15th of February, I will have a rough, messy draft that I can send to my editor to review. And this is going to be aiming for 70,000 words for this rough, messy draft. And the next question is, what is the habit or projects that I need to do to make this happen? And so for me, the habit I need to do is that for the next 6 weeks, I just need to write 2,000 words every day. Yeah, 2,000 words a day for the next 42 days will get me to 80-something thousand words, which should be enough to hit the kind of goal of getting the 70,000 word manuscript as a rough first draft by the 15th of Feb. Now, the next question I ask myself in my Wasteman productivity system is, how surprised would I be on a scale of 0 to 10 if I didn't hit the goal? So, how surprising would it be for me? And I've given myself a 3 out of 10 for this. I wouldn't be very surprised if I didn't hit that goal, because it feels too hard and too difficult right now. And knowing myself, I'm a wasteman, and if it got to the 15th of Feb and I'd only done 20,000 words, I wouldn't be too surprised. And so knowing that about myself, the next question I ask myself is, what are the top 3 reasons why I might fail to do the thing? And the only way I would actually fail this is by not hitting my daily word count. So if we look at the reasons why I might not hit my daily word count, firstly, it's probably a time thing. Like, even though I will set the intention that, hey, today I'm going to write 2,000 words, other stuff might come up. There might be like an urgent thing to do for my YouTube channel, or for my, I don't know, YouTuber Academy, or for some other thing I'm doing for the business, or maybe a friend comes over post-lockdown to visit, or something might get in the way, in which case I might not hit my 2,000 words a day kind of limit. Secondly, I might not hit it because I don't make time for it in my calendar. These days I take a lot of phone calls, and unless I actively block out time to do something in my calendar, basically it never happens. And thirdly, I'm probably massively underestimating the difficulty of writing 2,000 words a day. So maybe while I start the process of doing this for the next 6 weeks, I might realize, oh crap, this is actually a lot harder than I thought. And it takes me 10 hours each day to do this 2,000 words. And I don't have 10 hours physically in the day to do this because I have other stuff that I need to be doing. And so the idea there is that I'm being really honest with myself about, right, I'm saying I want to do this thing. I'm making a video kind of making a pledge that I'm going to do this thing. What are the reasons why I might not actually do it? And then the next question is, who can help me achieve this goal? Now, I've got 3 people who can kind of help me with this. So number 1 is my writing coach. His name is Abdaal. He and I have been kind of having weekly sessions for the last several months now. He, in a way, is going to hold me accountable, and I'll chat to him anytime I'm struggling, and he can give me some like emotional help along the way. Secondly, I think it would be useful to have someone as an accountability buddy with a big forfeit. Like, for example, if I said to my housemate, Sheen, every day, if I don't write 2,000 words, I'm going to give you £5,000 and you can do whatever you want with that money. That would be a very strong incentive for me to actually write those 2,000 words every day. And thirdly, if I'm making the excuse that, oh, I don't have time to do this writing, it's possible that if we're just kind of brainstorming like who can help us do the thing, it's possible that if I, for example, had someone to do my laundry, for example, that would be one aspect of my time that's freed up to do this writing thing. And so the idea behind this exercise is that it doesn't have to be realistic things. It's just kind of like a brainstorm. I probably won't hire someone to do my laundry, but it's good to know that it's an option if I need it. The next question is, how can I stack the deck in my favor to succeed? And so my idea for this is that I'm gonna time block 3 hours a day in my calendar every single day where I'm only allowed to do writing. So I'm gonna block out 2 hours in the morning and 1 hour in the evening, and I'm hoping that given my typing speed is relatively fast, theoretically it should be doable to hit 2,000 words in those 3 hours. The other thing that I can do to stack the deck in my favor, which I'm gonna do from now on, is I'm gonna set up a mailing list of people who want to hear the behind the scenes of how the journey through writing this book is going. So if you're interested in that, click the link in the video description, enter your email, and I will be sending you an email once or twice a week with a little update of what I've been working on and the things I've been struggling with. And I might ask for your input. Like, for example, I'm working on a chapter about this thing related to productivity. Can you reply and tell me what are your thoughts, what are your struggles, and potentially might give you like early drafts of stuff. It's all free. So if you're interested in that, put your email down below, and that will be another vehicle for me to kind of actually do this. And actually, each week in the email, I will send you a sort of word count that on Monday I did this many words, Tuesday this many words, and that will be another way for me to be held accountable to some number of people. I hope some people join this list to actually getting this done. And finally, the most useful part of this exercise is by taking action right now and taking the first step to doing the thing. So I've already made a commitment with my writing coach that this is gonna happen. And while I was preparing this video, I time blocked 3 hours in my calendar every day until the 15th of February, where I'm only allowed to write. And by the time you're watching this video, the mailing list should be set up. So hit the link in the video description if you wanna check it out. All right, item number 2 on my bucket list is that I want to make some level of progress towards finding a wife. And I'm going to call this my wife quest. Why? Well, because relationships are, like everyone says, relationships are the most important area of life. And I feel like for me personally, for the last 26 years of my life, I haven't really taken dating and relationships particularly seriously. And so, now is as good a time as any to start taking this stuff more seriously. And I guess people say that when you're in a good relationship, it makes your life better. And honestly, I can't really imagine my life being any better than it currently is right now. My happiness level is a 10 out of 10. And I can't imagine someone else coming into that and making it better. But everyone I know who's in a relationship say that, yeah, they couldn't imagine it either, and then they ended up in a relationship and now their life is better. So I feel like this might actually be one of those unknown unknowns whereby it's kind of like when people become parents, they say that nothing can really prepare you for it, and most people still say that having kids is useful. So I don't know. I feel like there is probably something I'm missing here, which is why I want to take the whole relationships thing a bit more seriously. Kind of hard to put a SMART goal on this. Maybe I won't bother. And I think one habit that might help with this is committing to myself that I'm gonna go on at least one date every week, or at least make time to go on at least one date every week. Maybe I'll have someone to go on a date with, maybe I won't, but at least there'll be a little time slot in my calendar, maybe Saturday nights or Sunday morning for brunch, where I'm okay, this is time where I'm not allowed to do work, I'm not allowed to book meetings, I'm not allowed to I'm not allowed to film a video. This is purely time where in an ideal world, I'll be going on a date with someone. This might be a little bit problematic during lockdown, but I've been toying with the idea of dabbling with Zoom dates. I'm not really sure how I feel about it, and so, like anything, it's worth trying out just to see what it's like. Let me know in the comments if you have any personal experience with the Zoom or FaceTime dates and whether you'd recommend them. In terms of who can help, I've been vaguely wondering, do I want to hire a dating coach for a bit? I don't know, I'm not sure how it would help, but I feel like, even Roger Federer has a tennis coach, so as much as I rate my own ability to talk to women, I feel like maybe getting a dating coach might help, and they'll encourage me to wear more shirts and iron the shirts or do things like that. And in terms of how I can stack the deck in my favor and the action point here, I have already time blocked Sunday morning, this coming Sunday, to theoretically go on a date with someone. Who knows if it's gonna happen? Honestly, I'll put my surprise at a 2 out of 10 if I don't make progress on this front, because I imagine that this year I'll probably just say, oh, well, I'm too busy, or I can't be bothered to make time for this, or, oh, it's lockdown, I'll do it after the pandemic, or even stuff like, well, I'm only 26 or 27 in 2021. I'll start to worry about finding love when I'm 30 or something. So those are all reasons why I might not do it, but it is something that I do want to take a bit more seriously. All right, let's get more exciting now. And item number 3 on my bucket list is that it would be nice to get 6-pack abs at some point this year. Why? Well, it would be a fun challenge and I've never had abs before. There was one time, I feel like it was in 2017 or 2018, where I'd been doing like ab workout type stuff every time I went to the gym for a solid like month. And I remember once I like folded, I was like folding my arms just for no reason. And I felt like, oh, hello. And I'd never really felt that before. And that was like a really nice feeling. And I've not had it since. So it would be nice to get 6-pack abs at some point this year. Plus, you know, maybe it'll help with the whole wife quest thing. The smart goal for this is that by December 2021, I will have had at least a 2-week period of my abs showing, which I will probably post a photo of on Instagram. Maybe if I can, if I feel that narcissistic about it, if it even happens, which realistically it probably won't. And I guess the only 2 habits I need for this are A, hitting the macros that my personal trainer says, and actually doing the exercise. Like apparently the human body is kind of like a science project in that if you put the right inputs in, you will get the outputs that you want. How surprised would I be if this didn't happen? Probably like a 2 out of 10. I don't really back myself at all to actually get 6-pack abs at some point this year. And the main reason why I might fail with this is because I've been living off takeaways pretty much for the last 3 years. And I anticipate that pattern may continue in 2021 where I decide, screw it, I'll just get a takeaway and then I'll completely blow my macro goals. At some point pretty soon, I might also decide, you know what, doing these ab exercises is a total nightmare and I can't be bothered with this. And you know what, I want to find someone who likes me for me, not because I've got abs. You know, I might tell myself all those kind of BS excuses. And at some point, if we're allowed to travel sometime this year, if I do travel, then I anticipate that will make my diet and exercise go inconsistent. So those are reasons why this might not happen. In terms of who can help me, well, I already have a personal trainer who I've been working with for the last couple of months. And we do like Zoom calls twice a week where he makes me do exercise. And that's always fun and good. And in terms of action points, I have already arranged my next session with a personal trainer. And I'm going to say to him, look, Dan, at some point this year, I want to get 6-pack abs. So can you help me out? And he's probably going to say, look, man, you've not been hitting your macros and you've not been doing the exercise. And so you just need to do that. And I'm going to be like, thank you, Dan. This is helpful. This is what I need. Let's do it. Item number 4 on my bucket list is that at some point this year, I want to busk on the London Underground, i.e. I want to play my guitar and sing somewhere on the London Underground. I think that would be really fun. This is something that's actually been on my bucket list for years now, and I've just like never done it because the annoying thing about the London Underground is that you need to audition and you need to get a license for it once you've passed your audition. And with COVID, apparently, this is actually becoming quite a lot harder. Reasons I might fail are if they realize that I actually suck at singing and playing the guitar and they reject my audition piece, and therefore I don't get a license and therefore I won't end up being able to do it. But I suppose like the nice thing about living in Cambridge is that in Cambridge, there are no, like you don't need a license to busk. So at the very least, I will commit to myself that I will do busking somewhere on the streets of Cambridge with an amplifier and a microphone and a guitar, even if I get rejected from the London Underground auditions. Who can help me with this? Well, I don't really have a guitar teacher. I sort of have a singing teacher, but we're very on and off because of like lockdown. But I actually have a friend who's another YouTuber called Mary Spender, and she is a professional guitarist and professional musician and stuff. And I messaged her the other day saying, Mary, I want to busk on the London Underground. Can you help me out? And she was like, yeah, sure. We'll figure something out. So Mary is going to be helping me on this journey to become a busker on the London Underground. Item 5 on my bucket list is that I really want to learn how to draw like a concept artist. Now, concept art is that like fantastic art that they have in like video games and movies and stuff. And I absolutely love the idea of being able to draw, paint, illustrate scenes, like my favorite scenes from fantasy books, like you know, the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, or like Harry Potter, or like the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson, or like The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, or all of these like various fantasy books that I read. It would be so sick if I can kind of do those illustrations. Smart goal for this is that by the end of 2021, I will have created one of these illustrations and I will have uploaded it as a time lapse to like YouTube or Instagram or something. And in terms of a habit, it just means that I need to practice every day, but also have a sort of a roadmap towards actively improving and getting feedback. Now, someone who's helping me with this is actually my art teacher, and we had a session this morning because I decided 4 days ago that I wanted to do this. And this is something that I drew this morning. We are working on gestures and on proportions, and he was telling me stuff this morning that, hey, you know, if the human head is like 1, then like the torso should be like 3.5 and the legs should be like 4. And now we're trying to get an idea of proportionality when it comes to drawing. And the great thing about having an art teacher, I'll link his Instagram in the description if you want to check him out. He's a professional concept artist, is that I've committed that I'm going to do 3 lessons a week with him. And so it's embarrassing for me if I turn up to a lesson not having done any practice. And so theoretically, that shame will actually make me do some practice when we don't have lessons. And the lessons are usually at 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's like a thing that forces me to get out of bed. And I found for the last 4 days that we've been doing this, I feel like, oh, I'm really annoyed that I have to get up at 8 in the morning for this, but I'm really glad that I had to get up at 8 in the morning for this once I've had a bit of coffee and once we're into the swing of doing some drawing. And the final item on my 2021 bucket list is that I want to become a better storyteller. Now, why is this? Well, stories are such an important aspect of all of our lives. And, you know, if you can tell a good story, then that's like one of the best things in terms of just improving social skills, and I'm keen to improve my social skills. Also, telling better stories is a great way of making people more engaged on video. And storytelling is something that I've recently been reading about through books like Storyworthy by Matthew Dix and A Million Miles in a Thousand Years by Donald Miller. And I just love the idea of becoming like a pro storyteller, because I always look up to those people who you can just like enrapture an audience. Is that the right word? Enrapture an audience just through telling a story. And actually this year, there were 4 interviews that I did on my deep dive live streams in particular that really helped me want to develop this love of storytelling. Firstly was with Austin Kleon, who is the author of Show Your Work, one of my favorite books. Secondly, bestselling author Ryan Holiday, who's written a ton of books that I really like. Thirdly, Alex Benayan, who is also an author who wrote a fantastic book called The Third Door, which made me cry many, many times. And fourthly is David Perel, who runs an online writing school called Rite of Passage, and I've taken his course and it's very good. And in my sort of 1 to 2 hour interviews with all 4 of these guys, like we talked a lot about storytelling, and I just kind of, I left it feeling so inspired and feeling like, you know what, I really want to take this stuff really seriously. If for some reason you missed those live streams, then A, you're really missing out because they were fantastic, and B, you're in luck because they're all actually uploaded over at Nebula. If you haven't heard, Nebula is an independent streaming platform that's run by me and a bunch of other educational-ish creators. And Nebula is the place where we can put things like a 2-hour-long interview or like random snippets of an interview or various other things without really having to worry about the YouTube algorithm. Like, we're not trying to build a competitor to YouTube, it's just purely an alternative place to put our stuff. And so on Nebula, you will find all of my deep dive interviews. I think I've done like between 10 and 20 of them at this point, and we also cut them up into snippets. So if you don't have time to sit through a 2-hour-long interview, we cut each interview up into like between 5 and 10 short bite-sized videos, so you can just watch those while you're eating your food or something. Secondly, on Nebula, you also get early access to my videos completely ad-free. And so this video is already out on Nebula, and this ad completely disappears from that video. And thirdly, you'll find tons of content from a load of other educational-ish creators, people you might know like Thomas Frank and Wendover Productions and Legal Eagle and Tom Scott and Lindsay Ellis. All of us lots, we're all like part of the same like mafia collective thing, and we all upload our exclusive content over at Nebula. Now, the single best way of getting access to Nebula is actually by signing up to CuriosityStream, who are very kindly sponsoring this video. Again, if you haven't heard, CuriosityStream is the world's leading documentary streaming subscription platform founded by John Hendricks, the founder of the Discovery Channel. And on CuriosityStream, they've got thousands of high budget, like fantastically well shot documentaries. And actually, I've been watching a lot of those recently to try and improve my own storytelling skills, because documentaries do give you a good insight into how to tell a good story. And actually, one documentary series I've been enjoying recently is called How to Look at a Painting, which I'm watching because I've never really gotten the whole art gallery thing, and you know, why do people enjoy looking at paintings? But now that I'm trying to become a concept artist, this is helping me kind of get more of an overview of exactly why this happens and all the different things to look for in artwork. And because CuriosityStream loves independent educational creators, we've got a special bundle with Nebula, whereby if you sign up to CuriosityStream by going on curiositystream.com/Ali, for less than $15 a year, you'll get a year's access to CuriosityStream, so all of these documentaries, but you'll also get free access to Nebula. So all of my stuff, I've even got like a workflow series where I take you behind the scenes of my workflows for my productivity apps. You'll get all the deep dives, you'll get all the snippets, you'll be able to watch all of my interviews with Austin and David and Ryan Holiday and Alex Benayan and all the other people that I've interviewed over at Nebula. If that sounds up your street, then head over to curiositystream.com/Ali, sign up for the account, and you will get your Nebula details emailed to you. So that's why I want to improve my storytelling, and the habit that's going to help me get there, hopefully, is called homework for life, which is something that Matthew Dix talks about in the book Storyworthy. And that's the idea that every night you sit down and you write down the most story-worthy thing that happened to you that day. Now, I've been doing this a little bit on and off for the last year, but I'm going to really start taking it seriously. And actually, I emailed Matthew Dix himself the other day and said, hey, can you be my storytelling coach? So we have a session booked later in January, and hopefully he's going to feature on a deep dive as well, which then again will be uploaded to Nebula. So those were the 6 items on my bucket list for 2021. If you want access to the template that I've been using to plan these, you should definitely check out this video over here, which is my 2020 annual review using my free Notion template, which is linked in the description of that video. So check it out. Thank you so much for watching. Happy New Year, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.